Okay, pals, so for our cakes today, the next thing the first thing you need to do is if you did not finish coloring your cake, you need to color it with the colored pencils. And I think last week we talked a little bit about overlapping colors. For example, on my dark chocolate frosting, I used some brown and some black, and I blended. For the chocolate side, I used a light brown and a dark brown. For the cake itself, I think I used like a yellow and a brown. The strawberry filling, I used some magenta and some pink. And I think I added a little bit of a shadow on this side. Now, some pals chose to draw the plate on here. If you have a plate on there, that is totally fine. You can keep that plate on there. Okay. The next step is to cut out your cake. Now, I'm not going to cut out this cake. I'm going to pretend like, zoop, I already cut out this cake, so I'm going to use this cake. All right. Now, after you cut out your cake, the next step is going to be to choose your background. You can bring your cake up to the front table. You have a couple color choices, and maybe you might want to look and see which color looks best with your cake. If you have a purple cake, you might not want to use a purple background. Okay, I have a brown cake, so I think I chose a purple paper for my background. After that, you're going to use either the colored pencils at your team, or you can use a basket of oil pastels, which are right underneath Patty, and you can go ahead and draw your table. Ta-da! I have drawn my table and made sure that my name and class code are on the back. I've also added a few little swirly decorations in the background because I was inspired by this one that has the swirly decorations, okay? Now, after you have created your table with either the oil pastels or the colored pencils, I created a vertical picture with a horizontal table. You could also create a table that is curved if you'd like. You can make your table like an oval table. It's totally up to you. The next step is going to be it's sort of two parts. You need to create your silver plate, and you need to create a cake stand. Okay, so to create that cake stand, here's one of my cake stands that I created. You could do that one of two ways. Head up to the scrap bins, and you can pick something that already looks like a cake stand, kind of nice and skinny, and you could put two pieces together. You could even give this a little bit of a funky edge, or make it a little shorter if it's a little too tall. You could have something like that. You remember Wayne Thiebaud, his pictures just kind of came down to the bottom of his painting, and they went off the edge. If you'd like to have a bottom to yours, you can cut out a separate shape and glue that on. Or how I created this was I used the method where you fold it in half. So you can get a piece of paper, and you can fold that paper in half. And then I just kind of drew a shape, I don't know, something sort of funky. That's not really a good color to use. Maybe just, and that one's not working either. It's a little bit better. And then the bottom kind of heads out to the corner, like that. So it's a little hard to see, but drew my line following the fold, not too skinny, and then I went out to the edge. And when I cut, it looks something like this. Maybe I'll give it a little bit more funky edge to it. All right, looks like that. It's a little too tall, so I'll make it a little bit smaller. So there's my cake stand. I can decorate it with oil pastels or colored pencils or Sharpies or whatever you'd like to decorate it with. Okay? Also, you can bring your cake up to the front table, and your substitute teacher will help you cut out a oval shape for that plate. They're going to measure it and help you cut that out. If you get to it, the last step is really to glue everything together. I glued my cake stand to my tabletop. I glued my cake plate on top of that, and then I glued my cake on top of my cake plate. And I actually even used a Sharpie to draw some lines on there. All right, and there is your cake. Hope you have fun.